Hey, my
Okay.
friends, this is Vineet, and today we have Dr. Joseph Thomas on HX Star Interview, and he has just completed 10 weeks of HX intensive program, and he's got some amazing results. So let me actually formally welcome you, Joseph, on the HX Star Interview. It has been an amazing journey for you, and tell us how has been the program experience for you after completion.
Thank you, Vinit. It's a great journey so far, 10 weeks. And though it's my first program, and I feel it's a right decision I took because after COVID, I realized, uh, personally, I felt my tummy is coming out and my waist was kind of thing. And I know it's not a good sign. So, and I'm part of the Nitin Sony's, and I'm an author. So, in that program, I happened to see your interview, and I signed up that day. And I'm happy that sometime you take decisions, you'll be very happy, and sometimes you'll be not happy. And most of the time, my decisions are positive and good. And of course, in your case, it's really positive. And I'm glad I'm joined, and I'm here. With all the results shows it's the right decisions. That's the reason I also signed up to continue for next 12 months, and that is also indications of how positive I am, and I'm optimistic about the program.
Wow, that's so awesome to hear from you, Joseph. Tell us what has been your top results from the program?
So I can say from last 10 weeks I lost around 6 kgs of weight, which is average, I can say 3 kg, maybe initially because of that, and also 2 inch of waist, which is great. When I compare my when I joined my front photo and the side photos, and I comparing with my last week's photo, and I see so much difference. And so I think that really shows its program is working. And also people are noticing and asking what happened to you. And that for me, whatever the way they're asking, but my internally I'm so happy that okay, somebody's noticing, somebody's asking. Before I had to pull my tummy inside, but now I'm I'm confidently standing and say this is me. Right, so there's a huge difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can clearly see because when we were talking first time, Joseph, and now we are talking after completion, I can clearly see a difference. It is so much clear and visible. And actually, that leads me to the next question. I want to actually check. See, one is that you've lost weight, but then the impact of that. Tell us what all has changed. One is losing weight. Secondly, how do you feel from within in terms of your happiness, in terms of your energy, and is there any ripple effect in terms of to your family or whomsoever you are interacting? Tell us more about that.
I think one thing is very obvious in this program is I'm compared to 10 weeks before versus today. At least I'm conscious of what I'm eating. Because before I used to go to any supermarket, you just grab whatever you feel it's nice, can be nicely packed or something which is attracts by photo, something you okay feel like okay, this is nice to have tea time snack. You have those habits which is formed over the period of time. I used to grab so many things, and that's one which is today. I never used to read anything because I just see the thing. Okay, that's fine. But today, one thing is I see consciously I see the details at the back and before I used to see the front of the photo. Now I see the back of the cover and say what are those small prints, right? That's called red herring, small print, which is generally you can't read. And now I know that purposely they print so nobody should read, right? So just a compliance purpose they print it, but nobody reads it. And then I say, okay, what's the percentage of cholesterol? What's the percentage of oil? What's the percentage of thing and carbohydrate? So at least we have a awareness on those data, and I see okay, something doesn't work, and I don't take it. One is in fact we almost stopped those things. That means that consciously you're doing everything what in those hypermarket is not meant for you. You just think. So now instead of going to those nice bakery, now those shelves, we are going to now where is the fruits, where is the organic, where is those stuff. Purpose is say it's a food, but you're consciously going to the right place before I went to the wrong place. So that is one. That's a good thing. And so that I think that's a discipline we're following, which is I'm happy about that one. Number two, we used to, I think, now literally order non-veg every. In fact, we used to have non-veg every day. So and you can't order so weekly. You get, and you have big fridge, just stuff it everything, right? So my refrigerator side of my fridge is crying because nothing there today. And so, but on the other side we have now whatever. So you have more. You can see more fruits and more this thing increased. That is another change you can see. And mostly also everything you're conscious now. I think you're conscious of whether you, because before I used to feel I can't be without a coffee and tea, those kind of thing. But I don't think so now. And if I'm, even sometime I still have some green tea, something. Or when I go to my mother's place, she's not going to listen to anything. So I'll say, okay, I don't want this one. Can you give me a green tea, something, just to, instead of taking the whole coffee. So just be the thing. Otherwise, at home you're very disciplined. My wife is disciplined. It's helping. So overall, I feel it's a great feeling inside. And it is also now. Before I used to tell my son about all this program, about you have to, because he's in Netherlands. It's so. And I know these boys are always busy, either going to university or playing games. I think that's where the most of the time. So I used to keep telling him now. So what I don't tell him now. I think the children don't like when you tell
Okay.
them. So each week when I take my measurements, I take my measurements. I send the photo of that one, and so okay, I was here, so I reduced here, and I will not say anything more. And so just showing him indirectly, okay, so it's happening, and if I can do it, you can do it. And so so then last week it only started. He bought a big 3 liters of one mug from Amazon. And they were showing me that one. Okay, this I bought. I'm drinking more water.
Okay.
For me as a father, it's a great thing, right? I used to tell him before, do blah blah blah, but now I changed my ultimate results the same. I changed my way of telling him,
True.
and so instead of telling me he bought and he's having more water, which is a positive for me. I think he's also taking one step. So as a
Wow.
family, I think this is a great thing. I think when people say compliment it, I think it's all positives in your life. I think, and it's pretty working good.
So what you're saying is that there is a clear ripple effect, and as you rightly said, that kids do not do what we tell them to do, but they copy what the parents did. And when you started being a role model, right? That's the term
Exactly.
that we
Yeah.
use in the program. That
Yeah.
when you start working on your self transformation, and then you become a role model, then loved ones, near ones, they just start following us and they just start copying us rather than us trying to preach them. So I think that's a really awesome change, and you have done such a good progress. Tell us what's the long term results. Where do we see you in the next few months?
I think my long-term goal is definitely want to. I think if you see my first commitment, I want to be. When I left army, I was in a certain category of medical fitness and my weight and everything. So, and my ultimate aim is to get there. Which is, I know it's almost 20 years back. So then I realized that 20 years, I almost gained 1 kg per year over the last 20 years. So when I'm talking about I want to be in that 88, those brackets, it's almost close to when I left my army. I think that fitness. I think through even in army, I was never a skinny guy. I think except my the initial training days, and I think everyone will be skinny, right? It's only the bone will be there. But over the period of time, I was never a skinny, but I think, but always fit, always fit. I used to run marathon 40 kilometers like nobody's business, right? And so much of I think in a marathon cross country. So that the lifestyle was so this thing you always maintain. But then I was into 75 in a kind of bracket. I think 75 is okay for my height and this thing. It's from army standard, it's a perfect weight. It's not overweight. Yeah, army or overweight, you'll be medically disqualified for promotion. So you always maintain. So so my ultimate aim is to get there at least closer to that one, and that makes me really happy. And again, it's nice to be role model for my son or my family. So I think instead of telling, when I show people now start asking what you're doing, right? So I'm just telling what I'm doing. So they listen now. Before, if I say, okay, don't eat that, don't eat this, and I'm actually having two biryanis and telling them not to eat, right? That's very hypocrisy. Right? At least now I'm doing differently. Yeah, that's the thing. Long term, if I can reduce my weight, ready when I want to come out of again. When I left army, I was 100% medically fit, zero medication. So cholesterol tablet has to go, the thyroid has to go. I think that's then I feel that's my ultimate aim.
Absolutely. And what you are saying is so right that instead of preaching others, if we actually work and fix our own transformation, own wellness, then people will just come because they'll see the change in you, right? So
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
that's so right. Now let's talk about the program a bit. There have been many system and processes in the program, and I want to ask this to you: if you have to pick up your personal favorite, which one it would be?
Okay, this is I think there's so many things you guys we are doing. I think one is you though I'm very no, usually so many things are going on. So for me, taking out 1 or 2 hours is not easy one, and I'm sure that. But I was very committed, and somehow I had to attend, and if at all it's possible, for 10 weeks. That I missed one or 1.5, in fact. Otherwise, there's an interview there. Otherwise, that call actually that brings that whole family together, and the call is actually people look forward to the call because there's a lot of different stories to get from your extended family. Each one got their challenges, but I think that's more fun because each comes with their own thing, right? It's always a fun, and that was one of I could say my favorite on this one. Because there's a lot of internal motivation people do, I think, for sure. And you also made a lot of friends, I think, which is all new. In 10 weeks, you made friends, it's kind of I think now you feel from long time, right? So very regularly in a general context, you never make so friends so easily, and you feel that way. It happened here. I think that's thanks to the program, which brings people together. And then everyone's ultimately one aim, right? Everyone is committed for the one thing. It's all a personal lifestyle management and then overall. So that's one great program. Second is so many things to call. So I think for me this is the one. So a lot of other homeworks and all sometimes it's tough for me to send, but somehow I missed something. But one thing I followed 100%. But maybe I didn't send 100% food journal on time, but it was definitely I was following more than what I'm sending. So that means self-discipline is on the higher side. Even sometime I missed, I add on coffee. I know this is thing, right? So then next day I cut something else, just to think. So it was consciously. So and maybe I'm more kind of person. I don't. Maybe with my background or whatever I'm doing, right? So I'm not a person to likes to stand in the queue or likes to people ask questions, right? I'm maybe always on the other side. So, but this program I didn't felt that way. I think people asking question was okay for me. In general context is not okay. I think sometimes I'll take little. I don't know. That's what it is. But I felt it's okay because it's a. There's nothing personal about it, so I took it. It's fine. Less policing, and I put in a thing, right? So I like to be a less policing person because I'm self-disciplined. So I'm actually I know that I always try to tell nobody should point out to you. So that means that's what your minimum expectation about yourself.
True.
Whatever you do, right? Whatever you do, whatever thing. So that is there. That means on top of that, there's no policing required. So that's what and I say no questions. Otherwise, it's wonderful. Otherwise,
and that's actually congruent to you coming from the military background also because you're self-disciplined that way, right? So,
yeah, maybe correct. Yeah.
And yes, I think Saturday weekly calls were really fun, and especially I want to call out your name because you were always helping us with the family pictures, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So once the call is over, there will be a nice picture when everyone is there in the frame, and that will just come automatically in the Facebook
Correct.
group. So that was really awesome and amazing for us to.
I used to really look for everyone is in that good mood. So I wait for. I click actually 3-4 photos, then I see which one is the best. One, everyone should be there, and everyone should be in that joyful thing. And then I used to post at least people to see something. Yeah. So.
Right. That was I think those were really fun, and we were looking forward to having those pictures later. I think they
Yeah.
were great shots. Lastly, please tell us, Joseph, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being on the least side and 10 being on the highest side, how much you would rate this program and why?
Okay, so yeah, I want to be, and I think again, I'm little, uh, what do you call, strict with the numbers. So I don't want to fake it, right? So I think I say, even with the strict, I still rate at least 8.5 to 9 at least. But I can always say now by 10, but no. But it's no program can be 10 because there is it's not one particular thing. It's a overall,
Sure.
and there's always now there's so much of learning. Each program, each sessions, each batch will be improving. So if you see one batch 1 to batch 3, you see the big difference.
Right.
So for me, that way, this is definitely a number 9. But I think as a team, and you as an individual, how much you're committed to this program, and Deepti is how much she committed. Even when we send in, I think most of the time I send little late because most of my writing happens in the night. So that's where my team 1 or 2 hours I sit on night. So I still see, you guys are active, you guys are posting, you guys are thing. I see that one. That's a level of dedication. I told you before. This you're not just the program like chalo, this is all the thing you guys do it, but there's a dedication and commitment from your side. So what when it comes from you and your team, and that is also puts us into a question mark, right? You can't go take it lightly because somebody's when you say send something because you're going to see it, you're going to reply that one, and that's a great coordination from everyone in your team especially, and there's a lot of handholding. I think sometimes I feel so most of the people are all matured enough to understand, right? I think still you feel like they're amateurs. You do a lot of handholding, right? So even that means even the youngsters joins also, you get the same level of things. So that is another positives I see. The level of handholding you do till people reach there. I think that's very positive, and we can always learn and we can always improve. That I'm keeping that one for you to put yourself and see what next. That one is for what next. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you for your sharing, Joseph. Lastly, tell us if someone is watching this interview first time, right, or he or she may be a
Okay.
bit skeptical or may not be even sure whether this is going to be a right investment in terms of the ROI that he or she may get from this program. What's your message? What would you tell this to someone who's watching it first time and still not very sure about this program?
Okay. All right. So this is my first program. You know that we need. So I don't have any background of comparing A to B what happened, but purely based on the merits, purely based on the results, I feel this is a real the right investment, irrespective of your age bracket, irrespective of what is your conditions, whatever the issues. I think for me this is I think it's even less than your monthly your medications what you're going to spend. And in today's world the biggest thing, and I think people you see in our parents or somebody this level, the entire year they worked and they retire and they're left with nothing to enjoy because whatever that comes goes for the hospitals. So that means there's nothing called real enjoyment in their life because they sacrifice so much for the children, and
True.
by the time they retire, then whatever the minimum things it all goes for the hospitals.
True.
And if you want to not have those your dads and mummies those medical boxes when you reach there, I think this is you have to invest today for that one. If you think I can invest after retirement, it's too late because most of the time everything is gone. This only then it's left with very few things. I think early the better, because this is all about lifestyle. It is not about changing you as an individual or taking you to different level. Just what is right. You can always go in a right path. You can also go as a short path. So choice is yours, but I think this gives you one thing is I feel I'm very sure out of my medication soon. And once I'm out of it, that means I'm actually adding those number of years to my life. So anyone without, I think Steve Jobs told, if you now I think you should eat food like a medicine. Right, so, right. Otherwise, you have to eat medicine like a food. I think so. The first one is better. So instead of you want to eat medicine as a food. I think I see somebody having so much of tablet. no, I have no idea what they're eating, but I think there are 10 tablets to take morning, afternoon thing, and they're just taking it for no reason. I think that's the last thing I want to see in my life. And I advise whoever is listening or watching, and this is my message is, I think no one want to be, I think everyone says now health is wealth, and that's kind of a slogan, right?
Yeah.
If you don't really know the meaning, then there's no meaning. I think what we understood now is health is really, really the wealth. I think it's not from a financial standpoint, from a happiness standpoint. All this thing is happiness. It adds to that one. I think so. It's not that expensive program. People cannot afford it. It's just if you divide it by month or year, it comes out to nothing. It's just now you're going out and having one pizza. That's the program you're talking. It's just nothing. And it's a I think don't wait for you reach the deadline to start, or don't wait for like I'll put on weight then you start. Anyone can start. Even the people with the fitness can also start, because all you're changing is changing your food habits. That's all. So you'll more better. And so why to wait for let me put on tummy then I reduce it. So see that how what food style you implement today, so that the tummy will not come. As simple as that one. So don't wait for a worst thing to happen, then you start doing it. Best thing is start early. I think that's going to help. Yeah, and each time, and also when each time people ask me about this, I'm talking about your program, right? I'm talking to them. I'm with so you'll see some of the reference coming from me, because I told okay, so I don't want to tell you without seeing that one. You see my results, and when I'm convinced, you can join this program. So based on the same result, whoever is listening, the same thing. So I have a result in front of me. Now I understand what is where we are going wrong, and now he's in the right path, and it makes sense. I think I'm going to continue this.
Such a powerful message that you had, and really glad to hear from you, Dr. Joseph.
Thank
And I
you.
want to tell this to you. You've been you come any which way from the military background, but you've been so consistent and you've been so committed. And in fact, you became an Achik star. Is there a trophy that you want to show us?
Yeah,
An
that's it.
Achik star trophy?
I think overcoming, right? So people who come home when they ask this question, "Arey, kya hua?" Then I'm just bringing this and showing. And without any explaining. Then they see that one, then they want to explain, then I explain, so that this is the trophy. Then they have to. There's a credibility behind this one, and I'm talking based on this one. I'm not again. I'm not a more practical person than a preaching person. So this is my result. I show them. They show more interest, then I explain them more. And yeah, this is never expected. There's a very thank you for Vinit. And you're adding more these small things to add to the motivation of people. And this is actually a display in my my living room, so people can see this one. And every morning I see this one. And yeah, that's how it is. And it makes really always a positive impact. When you see this one, it also reminds you of your responsibility. You can't take it easy. You can't go wrong. And I think we see this about the program.
Such an
Yeah,
amazing
thank you for that.
journey. Such an amazing journey, Dr. Joseph. And really, I'm actually so happy to have you on a Cheek Star interview. You've got amazing results. You've been so consistent. You were very serious about this, and you became an Cheek Star. And yes, I have absolutely no doubt that you are going to reach your destination very soon. And one more time, we are going to have you on this interview.
Okay.
Wishing you all the best. More power to you. And it was really a pleasure for me to host you on a Cheek Star interview.
Yeah, thank you, Vinit. Truly appreciate it. You and your team, and a wonderful job. I'm really. I think now it's more than a program. I feel it's like a family. You can talk anything. You can share anything. It's a kind of extended family. Now that comfort is the biggest factor. Thank you so much for that.